going on, guys? This is Matt, and today I am playing assistant brewer. I'm here along with my wife Hannah.
Hey guys,
What are we making today?
we're making an Imperial Stout with a lot of chocolatey and coffee notes.
Perfect. So she went ahead and helped me plan and develop this recipe in Beersmith 3. So we're gonna first showcase the recipe in Beersmith 3, and then we are going to jump right into the brew day. My wife helped me design this recipe. She wanted a strong stout that had a lot of coffee and chocolate notes, so that's what we designed this recipe around. We first designed this as a 5.5 gallon recipe, and then we used the scale recipe function in Beersmith 3 to reduce this to a 3.7 gallon recipe. For the malt bill, we have a combination of Munich and Pale Ale for the base malt. The mix of these two is pretty traditional in the style. The chocolate malt will help us give some chocolate flavors. We're also using a liberal amount of roasted barley for coffee notes. We are also adding some caramel 60 as this works well in this style, and in fact a lot of people use a combination of a low and high SRM caramel in this style. Lastly, we're adding some flaked barley for head retention and mouthfeel. For the hops, we're only using one variety, Columbus, with a 60 and 30 minute addition to keep it very simple. For the yeast, I wanted to go with Imperial yeast because of the high cell count, and this is an Imperial Stout, so we'll put them to good use. We went with Flagship from Imperial yeast. For the water, we are using London water profile. It's a pretty balanced water profile with a high bicarbonate. Next, we're going to jump right into the brew day.
We first collected 6 gallons of distilled water. Then we measured our brewing salts. We measured out 4.5 grams of chalk, 4.4 grams of baking soda, 2.8 grams of Epsom salt, and 2.5 grams of calcium chloride. Next, we milled our grains to a fine crush. Once the water has reached strike temperature, we dough in. The mash temp will be 149. After dough in, we stir up the grains to break up any dough balls.
Next, I take a pH rating with my new pH meter after cooling the wort, and it measures a bit high, but exactly where Beersmith said it would be. The target was 5.6 for this style. Next, I run this number through Beersmith and adjust the mash with 2.1 milliliters of lactic acid. After our mash, I press the grains to extract as much wort as I can. Our pre-boil gravity was 1060 and the target was 1076, so we're adding a lot of DME to correct this. We will add that later in the boil.
Once we hit boiling, we add 1 ounce of Columbus. For our last hop addition, we add 0.5 ounces of Columbus at 30 minutes. Next, we measure out some yeast nutrient and the DME to add for at least 15 minutes of the boil. Right before the end of the boil, we run boiling wort through the pump, lines, and chiller to sanitize the equipment.
When the boil is up, we turn the cold water to the plate chiller to start cooling the wort. Once the wort is cooled, we move it to the fermenter and pitch our Flagship from Imperial. After we aerate, we take an OG reading and it measures out to around 1074, which is 14 points off. This should have been corrected in the pre-boil gravity reading, which we did, so I have no idea what happened to the DME we added. Because of the 14 points we were off, we opted to make a fermenter addition with a DME slurry to correct this. After 2 weeks, we got the keg ready and purged the keg with CO2. Then we moved the beer over into the keg for forced carbonation. So here we we are at the final part of the video where we go over brew day notes and tasting notes. I'm here with my wife Hannah, who helped me with the brew day and pulling together the recipe. So what have you thought about the brew day so far?
It was interesting. It was definitely very similar, I thought, to cooking. A lot more time consuming, and I don't have a lot of patience. But it's good for me.
You think you'll do it again anytime soon, or?
I think if I get to pick the recipe,
yeah.
I will.
Yeah. Okay, well, I'm gonna go quickly over the brew day notes. So this is the first time I used the pH meter. I actually got the pH meter from a recommendation from short-circuited brewers, and it's been working great. I plan on using that for the next few brew days, and probably just gonna implement it in my process overall. The only other thing I wanted to mention is we had some weird gravity issues. So I took a pre-boil gravity that was 1060 and it was supposed to be 1076. So we added well over a pound of DME, so we were 16 points off. And then I didn't check it until I did my original gravity measurements, which I was 14 points off. So I have no idea where that dry malt extract went. So we actually did something new. We actually made a dry malt extract slurry. So we can just pitch the DME right into the fermenter. And I actually uploaded a video last week on that. So if you're interested in checking out how to raise your gravity in the fermenter, go ahead and check out that video on my channel. So next we're going to go into appearance, aroma, mouthfeel, and flavor. So what do you think about the appearance?
I think it has a nice mahogany appearance.
That's impressive. I would say it's kind of like a brownish reddish color. Which I think is on style, and the head is like a light tan, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, it's got some yellow, a little bit like kind of goldy.
Yeah, it's kind of, when I was upstairs it looked definitely more white. I don't know if it's just from the lighting down here, but it definitely looks more tan now. There's never been a really big head on this, but I'm guessing that's just because it's kind of new in the keg. Next for aroma. So what do you think so far? I'm picking up a lot of like roasted grains and sweet malt flavor.
Yeah. I kind of get a little bit of coffee and some burnt flavor.
Yeah,
it kind of smells.
Yeah, the coffee's really dominating in this, and when I actually tried a sample of this when we were putting it in the keg, and it just smelled like coffee to me. You definitely get like more fruity esters, and the hop aroma overall is pretty low on this, but. It definitely has a really, really pleasant aroma. So next is mouthfeel. So I would say like a medium to full body. What do you think about
this? This is wonderful.
You've never sat down and talked about a beer like this, have you? Is there anything else you describe it other than the like a medium to full mouthfeel, or?
It's like smooth.
Smooth. Okay. Yeah, it's definitely smooth.
Kind of. There's no like bite in your throat when you drink it.
It's not harsh.
No.
Yeah. It's like kind of like a velvety almost mouthfeel to it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. Lastly is the flavor. So yeah, I'm definitely just getting an overall overwhelming coffee flavor. Are you picking that up as well? Or?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is there any other things you're picking up besides the coffee flavor?
It's kind of like the bitterness of coffee, I feel like, is what I'm really tasting, like that bitterness.
Yeah, almost like an unsweetened chocolate or like a cocoa flavor.
Yeah.
Yeah, but overall it definitely has like a very roasty, burnt, dark flavor like you would expect from this style. I would say like slightly bready as well towards the finish. Do you get any like warming character from this at all? Like alcohol warming in your chest, or no?
A little bit. I feel like probably a smaller glass is better for this kind of a drink than to have, like this is it's kind of more rich.
Yeah.
So to have like 2 glasses of this is a little bit
excessive. It's a little bit much. Yeah, that's why I kind of stick to these like little 10-ounce glasses, because it is kind of on the stronger side. It's stronger than what I typically make. I usually make beers like around 5 to 6%, but she really wanted a winter warmer, so that's how we pulled together this recipe. But besides that, thanks so much for watching. I hope you learned something. Make sure to leave a comment down below and like the video, and stay tuned for more videos coming soon. Anyway, guys, I'll see you in the next one. Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Just be careful with the steam.